What's up, boys and girls? Welcome back to the Bangkok Hooker Fishing channel. I'm Us Bangkok Hooker. Today I would like to make a video to talk about one of my favorite things in the world, fishing in Thailand. Before I begin, let me answer a question on everyone's mind. No, you do not need a fishing license to fish in Thailand. So go ahead and fish all the spots you want, just so long as you don't fish in a temple area, that's fine. Thai people have this idea that if you release animals in front of the temples, it earns you merit. So by catching the fish, you're causing sin in front of the monks. So yeah, don't do that unless you want a monk to Muay Thai your ass. For the last few years, I've noticed that there hasn't been that much growth in the international community for Thailand fishing. There's very little resources about it, too little is known, and too much is just people shooting in the dark trying to figure things out. So today, I would just like to make a list of all the types of fishing that you can do when you come to Thailand. So let's begin. The most common type of fishing you'll probably find here when you come here as a foreigner is the pay ponds. Most of the fishing guides will take you there because it's easy, it's stocked, and you're quite guaranteed to have a good time there if you go with someone who knows it. They're good because there's a really large variety of fishing parks in Thailand. You can catch all sorts of species, from local ones like striped snakehead, giant snakehead to barramundi, all the way to exotic imported species like arapaima, red-tailed catfish, and so on. Those are the more expensive ones. The cheaper ones can be anywhere from like 100 to 500 baht, and the more expensive ones anywhere from 2,000 baht to 10,000 baht or more. Usually those would be the ones that have the exotic species in them. Another reason why ponds are good is it's also another great excuse to just go out and test your gear. There's the fish already there, you don't have to try to look for them. It's just a nice easy way to go out, spend time with the family, catch some fish, eat at the restaurant at the pay pond, and come home. There are also many types of pay ponds in Thailand. You can go for lure fishing, you can go for bait fishing. There's even some that specialize in pole fishing, and I know that a lot of British people living in Thailand and watching this are probably really excited to come do some of the pole fishing we have here. Next up is canals. Canals are an integral part of the Thai design. If you look all around Thailand, canals are just everywhere for agriculture, for draining floods, for just boats go around. There's canals everywhere. The trick is finding the right canal. In the canals, you can go both lure fishing and bait fishing. With lures, you can catch things like snakeheads, including striped snakehead, giant snakehead, as well as forest snakehead in some of the smaller, more isolated canals. Another thing that also hits lures in canals are the hampala barbs. They come in the spotted hampala barbs and the striped hampala barbs, and some of them grow quite big to like about 2 to 3 kilos, but the ones you find in canals are usually about maximum 1 kilos, and they're super fun to fight on light tackle. As for bait fishing in the canals, I've actually done it a few times. Earthworms, chopped prawns, chicken liver, they're quite good baits for some of the carnivorous species. For the more vegetarian species or herbivorous species, sometimes banana or the rice husk baits work quite well. But one thing I'd like to mention about canals though is even though we have some of the most polluted canals in the world, like say Sansap Canal, which is like dark as hell, you can still go fishing in that one. I mean, it's a bit smelly, but there are some big catfish in there. We caught like a small one last time we went, but while we were fishing there, we saw a couple like 4 or 5 kilo ones just surfacing. So hey, if anyone's game enough to go catch them, go ahead. But otherwise, if you really want to fish canals and fish for lures or maybe even bait, try to fish more at the outskirts of the city. So you're looking at neighborhoods like Bang Na, Ramkhamhaeng, Pathum Thani, or Puttamonton. All these neighborhoods surrounding Bangkok have canals that are much cleaner and have a much better fish population. Also, one last thing about the canals is try to fish in the canals that are closest to the rivers. These ones usually have the bigger fish and healthier fish. Which leads us to the next one, rivers. Now rivers are full of fish, of course, but you have to decide what part of the river you're fishing in. So if you're in Bangkok, the Chao Phraya actually has some fishing spots, although there's a lot of, like in the Sansap Canal, there's tons of plastic there, so you'll snag a lot. But there are a lot of fish in the rivers. If you go up a little bit more to the Nonthaburi area, that's much cleaner as well. So a lot of people do bait fishing off the riverside there. With rivers, there's all sorts of bait fishing options you can do, either from a boat or from the shore too. There are tons of species you can catch with bait fishing in the rivers. Some of the ones that are really cool looking are the featherback, which is popular in Florida, or some of the giant sheetfish. This is a great white sheetfish. This is something that is just, very beautiful fish too, super powerful. Found them in the rivers. They also hit lures as well as take live bait. If you do find yourselves at like the northern part of the Chao Phraya, so further from Bangkok, more closer to the Pathum Thani, Ayutthaya side of the river, that's where you can do a little more lure fishing off the banks, because a lot of the banks will be either rocks or concrete structure, and then you'll have the barbs coming up trying to hunt for fish around there. But that's also the big parts of the river. Once you get to the upper parts of the river, so take for example Kangachan River, once you get to the more mountainous areas, then This is where you get the upstream fishing. So this is a great place to do stuff like camping, trekking, as well as fishing in the wild. We recently went there. It was an awesome time. Highly recommended. And next up, reservoirs. Now, Thailand is one of those super agriculture countries, and because of that, we have lots and lots of reservoirs scattered around the country. Lucky for us, snakeheads love living in reservoirs. It just happens to be a great place for them to just go crazy. And anywhere there's water that stays still long enough, they can breed and make lots of babies. The reservoirs are full of snakeheads as well as other predator species. Some of my favorite ones are Kankachan, which is about 2.5 hours outside of Bangkok. The one in Rayong, Klong Yai Reservoir, that's quite nice too because it has accommodation on the water as well, just like Kankachan. Khao Lam Reservoir is a famous place for snakeheads, but the sizes have been kind of going down because of overfishing. On a lot of the reservoirs, Yinakarit, Khao Lam, and Mangat, which is up north in Chiang Mai, these are the reservoirs that offer lodging on the reservoir on houseboats. So if anyone ever goes there, super fun too, do try it out. And lastly, we have sea fishing. If you look at the map, the Thai archipelago goes down like that, with the Gulf of Thailand on the east side and the Andaman Sea on the west side. For all the land-based fishermen out there who don't want to go on a boat, really great bait fishing. You can also do some lure fishing on these rocks as well. So try bringing like smaller lures and you can fish with little tiny rock groupers. Rayong surprisingly has pretty okay land-based fishing. What has happened is due to industrial erosion, we have these rock formations that they keep building to stop the beach from being eroded. And if you look at the Google Maps, you can easily see they just keep building these over and over again because every time the beach erodes, they just build another one and another one and another one. But funny enough, it did create a lot of habitat for fish to come in. So do go check that place out too. Samesan and Chonburi also has some pretty decent fishing from the shore if you're down. Land-based fishermen, you could do a lot of squidding in Thailand. We have a pretty high squid population, and thanks to global warming, we are also seeing a much larger number of squids. One of my friends who actually is a sea fisherman recently told me that the squid run that he experiences is usually at most 2 to 3 times a year, but nowadays the squid run is about 5 times a year. Apparently the hot temperature is allowing them to breed much faster. So hey, more squidding I guess. So thank you global warming. Gulf of Thailand is 35 meters deep. You're not going to see species all the time. The big species you'll find in the Gulf of Thailand would be your cobia, Spanish mackerel, and queenfish. Now on the Andaman Sea side, we're looking at depths of anywhere between 100 to 200. And some of the charters would take you a little further and all the way into the Burmese side, and that's where you'll find the Goliath groupers for like about 20 to 40 kilos each, some of them even 80 kilos. So do check that out. And off Phuket, there's a lot of great fishing too, of course. Off Phuket and all the islands surrounding that in the Andaman side have great fishing simply because the water is a lot deeper. Anyway, that's it for today. If anyone needs any more questions or likes to add any more suggestions to what kind of information they would like me to share with you or make videos about, do leave some in the comments. And thank you very much for watching. Do subscribe for more tips on how to fish in Thailand, because I'll be making a lot more of those in the future. Anyway, I'm off. My name is Bangkok Hooker. Thank you so much for watching, and